Welcome everyone to Manny's Irish Sports Betting Show. That was a tongue twister. Manny's Irish Pub Sports Betting Show. Say that 3 times fast. We don't have time for that. But welcome Tony Finn, Jesse Scholl, and Tony Mejia to the show. And I'm not going to waste anybody's time because we all have things to do in about 15, 20 minutes. But for all those followers that love golf, here you go. And if I'm putting it up now, you can wait till the show's over and then you can come back because we have other things to talk about. There it is. 11 lineups, all optimized. Your player pool is on the right-hand side of that screen. You can take that player pool, and somewhere among those 25 golfers is a magic combination that will make money. And there's probably more than one combination that will make money. The problem is finding the one that you like the best. So I'm encouraging you to use that list of 25 as your starting point for your research. It narrows down the field. Choose the 6 you like. Do 3, 4, 5 lineups and see what happens out of that list. But the 11 that I have listed there, some of those will go in exactly as you see. Others will be modified. Sometimes I take, I look at lineup 8 and I go, well, I'm not really too high on Higgs there, so who else can I put in there at $7,100? So it's a mix and match then. And that has been successful because truthfully, I have found that when I optimize like this, I have a better chance of cashing if I mix and match among these 11 lineups and not just arbitrarily book them into the lineup. And that is our golf segment for today. That lasted 7 seconds. Honestly, you thought it was longer, but I'm telling you, that was actually 7 seconds, effing Tony. It was. Now, Jesse Scholl's looking at me like he agrees.
I'm just hoping that all the golf segments are going to be 7 seconds from now on.
Well, that was a pretty good segment, though. I mean, that was quick to the point. Good for the Generation Z people. They got what they needed, right? They got the chart. They know what to do with it.
All you got to now is turn it into an NFT and sell it for about $5,000.
Yeah,
No, I was thinking 50.
Let's snail mail it. Let's just snail mail it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it that way.
Yeah. So Miami plays at Los Angeles tonight. I have Lakers shirt on. I got a nice message from Ski Profit, and just touching base, saying hello. It was kind of neat to hear from him. He was one of the guys on this show in the very, very beginning. He'd pop in for a while and then leave, but he's a big Lakers fan. And honestly, as you guys have seen, my teams of choice change. When Kobe was a Laker, when Magic was a Laker, that was my team. I love the Red Sox. I love the Patriots. I cannot stand the Boston Celtics, especially when the Sixers had the big rivalries back in the 90s. Believe me, those were the times where you would look at me the way you know me now and see me acting the way I did. You would say, this is not John Ryan. We need to get him assistance. But I actually would get pissed at the TV, and it wasn't because of money. It was because I just could not tolerate Larry Bird. I couldn't take it. I just could not take it. Anyway, tonight's game in L.A., my question for you guys, and we'll start with F and Tony, I guess. LeBron has got an abdominal strain, and the more you touched upon it yesterday, the more I hear, the more I read, this thing could go on for weeks, if not months. AD has a history already of missing several games during the NBA regular season. I know this is like an early look at the playoff potential, but are the Lakers a team that you think are in trouble or will have difficulty making the playoffs?
Well, I don't think Tony, the other Tony, were you on the show, the NBA tip-off show that I did? I don't think you were, because I think it was just the original G group, but it was the first show of the year, and we were giving out best bets.
Yes, I was on that show, and
there you go. What was my best bet?
Best bet was a very incorrect take on the Lakers missing the playoffs altogether.
There you go. And that was my missing the playoffs altogether. There is no possible way that LeBron and AD stay healthy long enough. Here's the issue with that free pick or that take. It's pretty difficult to miss the playoffs because we still have a play-in game now this year. But again, that was more for the show. That was more for good TV to hopefully penetrate and piss off ski hitman Hagler. You know, trying to get into a fight, that kind of thing. but I still believe that it doesn't really matter. Here's the funny thing, guys. Look at the futures right now. Futures right now have the Lakers are third. They are the third team in the Pacific right now as far as winning the Pacific. First is Phoenix, Golden State, then the Lakers in order in the Pacific. However, to win the Western Conference, the Lakers are still the favorite to win the conference. So that tells you a little bit of what the odds makers think about winning your division. You know, it doesn't mean a whole lot. So I still think it means something. I still think the home court, it's not worth the 3 points that the bookmakers are issuing right now. It's just not. I mean, all you have to do is look at the numbers, visitors, et cetera, totals, et cetera, and you'll find that that's not. It may be 1 point, maybe 2 points, not 3 points. And that said, it still means something in postseason play because why? Because postseason basketball is a different animal, and you're more physical, more defensive. I don't think that's the Lakers either. So I stick by this. The Lakers, if they make the playoffs, they're probably out in the first round.
Tony Mejia, let's move to you. And for those that don't know, he was a national beat writer for CBS not too long ago. So he talks to a lot of people just like F and Tony does. And what I'm wondering is when I was on the WagerTalk Today show yesterday, it started out, what did we learn? And it got into the topic of fixing with that, horrible call that wasn't a call, that the player hit the ref and, it just got a little out of hand. And then it went wild that the NFL is fixed, which we all are smart enough to know that it's not. But I'm drawing off of that. And I actually did say, I thought of Tony Finn. What would he say in this situation, even though it was WagerTalk Today? And you get a little more nervous than you do like on shows like this, for example. And I thought, what would Tony Finn say? And I said to the press, I said, the problem with people that are pissed off is that they don't realize they're the fire hydrant, and that's why they're pissed off. And when if they would have had the other team, they would have been the dog, right?
Well, unfortunately,
that's why they're pissed off. They don't understand that they just lost. It's not a conspiracy.
Until we get impartial robot refs, there's going to be the cloud of conspiracy.
Oh, no. You're talking to an MIT guy here. I'm telling you, there's no such thing as an impartial robot ref. No.
Well, there are.
No.
Tony Mejia, I can point you in the direction of the English Premier League last year, a game involving Sheffield United. It was, I believe, I think it finished a scoreless draw early in the season, and I believe Sheffield, there was a goal in the game. You could see it as clear as day, and the automated goal line technology, the sensors, malfunctioned. They didn't go off, so the ref didn't get his watch didn't notify him of a goal. So all the fans, everybody at home, watched the team score a goal, and the computers that you're touting as the solution failed, and it was a great embarrassment to the English Premier League.
Well, that's not real quickly. That particular one there you're talking about, Jesus, is this. I don't mind that technology doing what it does. It needed to be followed up with replay and to verify it really quickly, and that's all they had to do, and that would have been overturned. Correct?
Correct. The system broke down, but it does highlight that the system will break down.
Oh yeah,
and you
absolutely.
will need the ability for humans to interfere with the game, and then
computers are only as smart as we program them to be, and they're as partial as we program them to be.
Well,
That's what I was saying.
if computer version of Tony Correnti gets bumped, I think it would throw the flag as well. And we don't need to see taunting in a game that grown-ups play. That being said, we don't need it flagged.
We don't have a game of grown-ups play. If they're professionals, they're definitely not grown-ups, though, Tony. These guys are not grown-ups for the most part.
This is true. You're right on that. But look, bottom line is, taunting shouldn't be a part. Maybe college football, not the NFL.
I agree. So I'm with you. I don't like dancing
on that.
I don't like any of that crap.
Well, I think Bears fans and Bears backers have a right to be incensed. It was a game-changing play. I'm mad because I had the Steelers and we're up 14 in that quarter. And if they return a punt, Ray McLeod doesn't fumble, then I'm sitting pretty with another 3-2 week in the Super Contest instead of an ugly, hideous 2-3.
Yeah.
So not Super Contest, it's Circuit Contest. But anyway,
sounds like Mr. Mejia thinks there's a conspiracy then. And if you have a bad break,
conspiracy with punt
right?
returners.
There's always a fix. There's always a fix of some kind, whether it's a programmable, whether it's a probability fix or not. There's always some fix involved. Everything we do, everything.
Humans are corrupt by nature. So
by nature,
the NFL might not be fixed, but that doesn't mean that human beings won't fix a game.
Not
They have
the
the ability to influence it.
We're not even corrupt. We're not only corrupt by nature. We're corrupt by money.
And
we're in trouble.
I just saw the Stephen Smith little documentary on Netflix. It's like one of the top trending shows right now. In episode 1, it's all about sports conspiracies. Episode 1 was the Arizona State point shaving scandal, which is always a fun watch. So highly recommended. And
what is it?
Said,
what is it?
What's that?
What is it? What's the show? What are you talking about?
It's on Netflix. It's like one of the.
Oh, it's a documentary.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the name of the series?
I forget, man.
I'll get right on that, and I'll watch that tonight then.
Yeah, it should be.
It's the
among your top trending because it was the Squid Game and the other thing.
Life and Times of F and Tony while attending Arizona State.
True. Well, that wasn't when I was attending Arizona State. That's not when that happened, but it happened. When I was at Arizona State, it was the New York Times that were writing articles about people were buying their degrees.
They talked to the guy that made the bets. They talked to Stephen Smith. They talked to the teammate that was in on it. It was really good stuff.
Yeah, I bet. It was pretty. They were really.
I'll say this
smart. They weren't very smart when they did that, Tony.
I'll say some 25. Go ahead.
I won't ruin it for you, but he said that the one game that was, I think, against USC, he got cover from Super Bowl weekend as to not getting detected. But then the game that they got greediest on, there was nothing being bet on the strip, and everybody blew their whistles.
Yeah.
But yeah, highly recommended.
Good. I will watch that.
There's one out there too on Roberto Duran and that era of boxing too. I think it's on Netflix. It's pretty cool.
No mas.
But what I'm going to do is when I was learning Python and a few other things at the zoo, we had to teach a computer to be able to look at a picture of a dog and know that it was a dog, and then be able to show a picture of a canary or a bird or a water faucet, and know that the reply from the app would say, no, that is not a dog. So I've learned a lot more since then, and Finn, I have this app, and maybe I should show it next week, where I'm taking the overhead shots of the NFL games, and I'm able to measure the distance almost to the tenth of an inch that a receiver has attained in yards of separation.
Well, we can get that information for you without you doing a lot of work, right?
Yes, it is true.
Yeah.
Well, I like doing it myself.
Okay.
Because I can make my own pictures and
you can manipulate it any way you want.
There are miles.
That is the key word. That's exactly where I'm going with this, Tony.
Right.
Because then after you see that, you can realize that how regulated would a robot ref have to be? Because one line of code, and that thing doesn't know taunting from freaking cheerleading. It would say you showed a picture of a cat, and that would be pass interference. No, that wasn't pass interference.
I don't think they would ever include something that's subjective It would all be metrics. You know what I mean? But it'd all be metrically. The robots would be metrically guided, and nothing.
Start with the goal
emotionally.
line.
Right.
But how do you metrically guide pass interference?
Well, you don't. That's not. That's probably something that would never be up to a robot. Maybe eventually, if they, I don't know. I would say, but in soccer, what we were referencing was they have, much like in tennis, where if a ball's in or out, it's done. It's not done by the lines anyway. They got somebody to correct it if they think the computer's wrong, but it's all done by it beeps. Hey, that was out.
We have so many angles now available to us in all these football games.
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely do a better job than the guy on the field, calling it arbitrarily. You got one
But
guy,
a sensor.
he's got 10 angles of the damn thing.
Right.
I trust that.
You're gonna trust. Yeah, you're gonna trust that. You're gonna trust the computer. You're gonna trust the computer with 110 mile an hour serve much more than you're gonna trust Finn on Quaaludes judging that serve.
Tony, how many games this postseason, big innings, were affected by a missed strike call? I can think of the Dodgers for sure.
Probably 20. There's 10 to 15 pitches a game.
Absolutely.
that are game changing. Now,
eliminate that.
Yeah,
it'd be such an easy fix.
Would you want an umpire that's a robot?
No,
I mean,
see, part of baseball is that. Part of baseball, we see that. I mean, look, guys. There's a reason why baseball does what they do, as far as no other sport in professional sports companies let their officials do what Major League Baseball does. They're part of the show. They're part of the show. They're throwing the guys out. The emphatic way they throw the emotional way they call strikes and balls. That's all for show. They're instructed to do that.
That is a form of taunting, by the way. That is taunting.
Yeah, that is taunting.
When you get rung up like that, that's taunting.
My money's in on stuff, or when championships are decided.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to break up the monotony for 162 games by humoring Cowboy Joe West, go for it.
As soon as they pull out
Joe West,
no, thank you.
No,
thank you.
What if you had robots where you had the range of Angel?
They have all different personalities.
Yeah, and then you got as the home team, you could pick who you wanted as the ball and strike.
I just want to know the robot.
He would be consistent. Would be consistent.
No. I want to know the robot that drinks and does drugs before he works. That's the umpire I want to know. That robot.
That's good.
I know our Major League Baseball shows would be a lot shorter if we had robots behind the plate.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jesse?
I think that they need a sensor in the ball in the NFL so that you're not constantly looking at camera angles of a bunch of offensive linemen piled on top of each other, trying to see the running back and where the ball is amongst bodies and arms. And how many times have you seen the ball at the bottom of a pile and nobody has any idea where it is?
Listen, Jesse's onto something there. I also think that the home team
on the inside of the ball very easily.
The home team has the option also to insert a shocking device so when the opposing team is throwing a pass, as soon as the receiver touches it, you push the button, it shocks him, he drops it, and this is good stuff. This is really
I agree with that. And it happened this season to Dak Prescott against New England in that game where they didn't review the fact everybody saw him get in, and then the next play he fumbles. So I mean,
big.
They needed a CD Lamb OT heroics to cash my bet,
but she got fined on that play. He gets fined every game.
Well, there shouldn't be anything subjective about did the ball cross the line.
No, that's different. It's different than pass interference. You're right.
The ball either did cross the line or it didn't, and to have human beings err on such a basic thing is pointless.
That's a great idea, Jesse. It's got to be thought of, because I was thinking like a wide receiver catches the ball and then it's a question, did the ball cross the plane before his knee hit the ground? You could put a whole in the fabric of the uniform.
Shit.
The whole entire uniform could be embedded with not a traditional sensor, but with a thing that could be measured that, okay, it made impact with the ground. And it could be so sensitive that it hit a blade of grass and the sensor went off. And yes, he was down before the ball crossed the plane.
We're all out of jobs soon. As soon as
but then a robot could do that a lot faster, and we wouldn't have to have these long timeouts.
Well, we wouldn't be out of jobs because you see.
Yes, we would. No.
Right now, there's There's machines that simulate the outcome of a game.
Yeah, but they would be fixing games at this point in time. The robots would know. They'd know. We don't. They don't need us. There certainly be with nothing to write about because we already know what's going to happen before the game's even played. It's
take it from me. If you have
it's the guys that taunt. It's the guys that are suspended. It's the guys that get in fights. It's the drama, the soap opera that surrounds the game that we write about. And
speaking of drama, how about Jokic and Markieff Morris? Anybody got any comments on that?
Yeah, I do.
30,000 was appropriate amount, I guess.
Yeah, here's the deal. Yeah, Jokic gets fined.
Should have never pushed him from behind.
He gets fined 30,000 for something like that. Yet Aaron Rodgers gets fined 2,000 for violating something that threatens the lives of everyone around him. Makes perfect sense to me.
No, I thought Jokic should have gotten multiple games. That's my take.
Yeah, I thought the one game was Bush.
All right.
Yeah.
But I also thought as a man.
And I understand Markieff Morris provoked it with a
still
body check mouth better.
Yeah, I know Markieff Morris played He played dead when he got hit. I know that. He laid there just laughing. I'm going to lay here, in fact, like I'm paralyzed. It's going to be lots of
World Cup.
He's got Jimmy Butler barking for him. I mean, if you watch the play as it unfolds, it's Morris throwing his hands up at a non-call.
It was no take foul. Yeah, I agree.
And then Jokic dribbling the ball past half court.
The Morris twins are famous for this crap. That's the whole deal. Is the Morris twins are famous for this? These guys are some of the most physical. I covered them in college. At Kansas, they are famous for this. As soon as Mama got involved in this, and I laughed. The mama got involved in this. She basically said on Twitter, "Boys, there's no more social media about this." And Markieff answered, "Well, you heard Mama. Love you, Mama. Never said another word."
No, and
Morris twins are funny. They're funny and they're good.
The bottom line with what happened is that if people were to react the way Jokic did to every extraneous bump that there is in the NBA and the NFL as they get unpiled and whatnot,
long day,
and in the NBA as they're walking, to the free throw line to get set after a foul, then we'd have that happen every single night. And the fact that it doesn't happen every single night tells you that Nikola Jokic overreacted.
It's a miracle. It doesn't happen every night.
I don't dispute that Jokic should have got the game suspension or a 2-game suspension. I just thought that it should have been equal punishment for both parties.
Well, what Morris did is I don't think it was a take foul, Jesse, but it certainly didn't deserve what Jokic did. Not even close. So
I thought. I mean, if you're gonna suspend Morris equal time, then you've got to suspend a lot more players every single night.
I think so too.
Do very similar things.
I would agree with that. I mean, Morris guys are always going to do that. They will egg you until you. That's part of their game. They will egg you until you blow up. I didn't watch that whole game.
A jerk foul, no question about that. But it didn't merit that response.
Yep.
How about that guard back in the day from Seattle called the Glove? Talk about getting
the glove. The glove.
Yeah.
Peyton.
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy never stopped, did he?
He was the egger too. I mean, that's part of his game. That was part of his.
Yeah.
There's lots of guys that way. Lots of guys that play that way in football. The talkers, the yappers.
I think they said the line of scrimmage. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't repeat it. You cannot repeat it.
No. But guess what? Those are things that differentiate between players that can not just in the NFL. That's life. The guys that can't handle that kind of things, those are the ones that have 10 let me raise my hand. Those are the guys that have 10 assault charges because they just reared off and hit somebody right in the mouth of the bar and they call the police.
Yep.
As I got older, I got better about it. I waited till they were leaving and I snuck up behind them and did a Jokic.
So I'm proud of you.
Put him in the headlight.
Let's do a quick round of best bets and we'll call it a day.
All right.
Because I ordered sushi and it's probably not going to be good.
Ooh,
if I don't get it, right?
It's going to get cold on you.
Well, that's better than getting hot.
It's true. Let's start. Let's start with Jesse Scholl.
All
And
right.
you can even use the game you used earlier yesterday.
I got a hockey game. While you were doing your golf segment, I went and checked the hockey schedule. I
I'm
figured something out
excited.
in 7 seconds.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So the Arizona Coyotes, pardon myself, they're coming off their first win of the season, and of course they're a big underdog, and they're playing Minnesota tonight at home. I like Arizona plus 1.5 goals on the puck line. Minnesota comes in as winners of 5 of their last 8 games. Only one of those 8 games was a win by more than 1 goal. So they've only covered the puck line once in their last 8 games. So puck line's roughly even money, I think. It'll be fairly affordable anyways. So we're taking Arizona on the puck line.
I'm writing it down. Let's move on to Arizona and the puck line. And what is that line?
Give me a second here and I'll let you know.
Minus 1.5.
Plus 1.5 for Arizona.
Oh, okay. The dog?
I would think, unless they're playing the Hershey Bears or something.
Plus
Good.
1.5 minus whatever. Minus 145.
There you go.
A little more expensive than I would have liked.
All right, let's move over to Mr. Mejia and see what he's got cooking for tonight.
All right, since I haven't been on in a while and I probably won't be back this week, I'm gonna give you 2 games, but both tonight.
Nice.
And it'll be the both first half bets, both overs. So we're going back to the well on the New York Knicks first half over, which is a very popular bet and was wildly successful last year. This year it's been hit or miss. But I really like this particular situation because you have the Bucks on the second night of a back-to-back. They don't want to get bogged down. I think Giannis will have a big first quarter. And the MO with the Knicks early is that Tibbs lets them throw up 3-pointers and move their feet, and it becomes a more Tibbs style of game in the second half with a deliberate attack and better attention to detail on defense. So I like the first half over. It's 105, 106 against the Bucks. And I think Milwaukee will come out with the intent to not get bogged down early, which will lead to a faster pace. And then in Boston and Toronto, and this is the free play up at my WagerTalk page at wt.buzz/TM, likes the Celtics and Raptors to get that first half over. Jaylen Brown is out and was out the other night against Dallas, and the Celtics responded with a whopping 15 points in the first quarter. So they'll be looking to reverse that trend, probably come out more aggressive. They actually scored 64 points in that second half before losing on the Luka Doncic buzzer beater. So this is their first game since that painful loss. They've got their starting lineup in play, the one that they'll use with Brown out. Dennis Schroeder will move in next to Marcus Smart in the backcourt, and Tatum, Horford, and Robert Williams up front. And the other key to that equation is the Toronto Raptors and the fact they have Pascal Siakam back. He's going to be their small ball 5, replacing Khem Birch, who was starting. Chris Boucher hasn't done anything this season off the bench. So it's a starting 5 of Siakam in the middle, Scotty Barnes, the rookie, and OG Anunoby in the front court next to Siakam, and Fred VanVleet and Norman Powell at the 2. No, not Norman Powell, kid that played at Duke, Gary Trent Jr. And look, what all 5 of those guys have in common is that they can bring the ball up the court themselves, and that's what Nick Nurse wants them to do. So whoever gets the rebound gets to fly on down the court and look for quick offense, which should help bring the first half over, in this case 103-104, into play against the Boston Celtics. So first half over in Knicks Bucks, and first half over in Celtics Raptors.
I like both of them. In fact, the Knicks Bucks was going to be one of mine, but I can change it. In fact, we can make it a double bet.
Double bet.
Yeah, double bet. And those are anything double or triple, Mr. Finn considers in moderation because it's excessive and consistent.
That's right. I do everything in moderation.
Yep.
Excessively. So,
and I see nothing wrong with that.
no, I don't
I do.
my free play is a follow-up on the other Tony, the New York Mets Tony. And that would be, I like the over. I like the full game over in the New York Knicks and the Milwaukee Bucks. First off, what we saw from the Bucks last night, they're the ones on the back-to-back of this, is that there was a coaching decision. They were all in last night against Philly, which meant that they played as much defense as they played offense. And because this team is a little handicapped offensively, simply because of injuries. Although Holiday's back, he's finally kind of getting back, rounding into shape. Long story short is the myth is that the New York Knicks are a defensive team, when in truth, if you look at their metrics, they're far from a defensive team. They weren't really they weren't as defensive even last year as you would hear ESPN, some of the major media portals that covered the NBA would spout them to be. Quickly, they give more open looks from beyond the arc than any team in basketball. And if you're giving more open looks than Miami does it selectively, which means they'll actually blitz a player at the arc, and in hopes that one of the other players gets it beyond the arc that's just not as good as a shooter. They do it strategically. New York Knicks don't. 24% of the shots that come from beyond the arc, there is not a defender within 6 feet of that player. Tonight, over. The Knicks may win this game, but Milwaukee's going to basically go in this bombs away. They're going to be shooting 3-pointers. They're not going to worry about going to the rim because they really don't. The truth is, I hope Robinson doesn't play. I don't know if you've heard tonight, but metrically, this Knicks team is better than the two guys right now that are questionable play, Noel and Mitchell, are better offensively without those two. So over next two, I think I got it at 215. It climbed to 216 and a half, and it came back. As soon as it came back to 215, I grabbed it. I don't know what it's at right now.
Yeah, it's a personnel thing too, Tony. Like,
yes, it is.
Your additions are Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier.
That's correct.
You're not going to be as proficient.
No, you're not. You're sacrificing some defense with Kemba Walker without question. Ever since his knee injury, Tony, not been the same guy. You know, before his knee injury, everything went through Kemba in Boston. After that, no.
Do you like this as a revenge spot, given the Bucks blew a huge lead?
No, what I like to see, I don't think we're going to see some playground. I'm hoping that I'm correct, and I think we're going to see playground basketball. We'll find out pretty shortly, won't we?
We will.
Yeah, we will. So mine centers on a total as well. I also concur with my colleagues. First half over Knicks, Bulls, and full game. I'll add a twist to it, and you guys know what it is with the. What is the game total? Like 212?
215, 217, 216 right now is what I'm saying.
Okay, 216.
Yeah.
So you have an option here to do 50% pre-flop before the game at 216. There's going to be scoring volatility is what I call it. It's going to occur. And what your hope is that they start out a little slow. And possibly you can get like a 211 and then a 207 for the other 25% and 25% amounts. While you guys were talking, I calculated it, and it's based on implied volatility, which is used to price options when I used to work on Wall Street, which is a measure of how much is that underlying stock going to move in either direction relative to the change in the option. And that term, Tony Finn, here's one that Steve Merrill will not know the answer to. Well, he might. He's a good friend. I'm not insulting him. It's called delta. That's what it's called.
The virus.
So maybe we can call this the delta strategy for in-game betting. Maybe that's a good name for it. But I like the idea of doing 216, 50%, and then 212, 25% more in-game, and what did I say, 208 for the last 25%. The danger is that the game is fast-paced the whole time and you only win 50%, and there's nothing wrong with that. I also noticed that we are starting to bottom like a stock that has been sold off and is in a bear trend with the unders. And you guys know it was 65% under, just blindly picking the under every single game, and you won 65% of the time in October. November is off to a 39-25 start to the under for 61%. However, the last 3 nights, 4-4, 4-4, 2-1 last night, over. So that's the first time that we've actually stopped seeing all these heavily dominated results to the under.
How many? There was only 3 games last night, though, right?
2-1, right?
Right. Okay.
So 4-4, 4-4, 2-1 the last 3 nights.
Okay.
So what was that? That's 10-9 to the over, which is nothing. But the fact is that it's leveled out now, which tells but it tells me though that the market may have caught up, and usually when the market catches up, the betting community will continue to bet the under, just like you see in the casino. There's certain people that see red come up on the roulette wheel and think it's going to come up 50 more times. It's not the way it works. But I do think there's value. And the higher numbers, over 228 this year, has gone 14-3 to the under. So I am going to start catching that falling knife, Tony Finn and Tony Mejia and Jesse Schul. I'm letting Steve Merrill know it right now. It's a dull knife. I'm not scared of it. I'm going over 229.5 in the Charlotte-Memphis game. So any game now for the next week that's 228 or higher is going to get my attention, and then I'll research it thoroughly, of course. I'm not going to bet it just because of that. But I do like the over in the Charlotte-Memphis game because of what I just outlined. And I'm playing contrarian sentiment.
I have that one on tonight's card as well, but not for the same reason as you do. My angle is just that the Grizzlies and Charlotte are the 2 worst defensive teams in the league. They literally rank last and second to last in opponent scoring, and they both score better than average points. So the numbers actually work out just based on what they score and what they give up. The total should probably be 2 or 3 points higher.
Yeah, and Charlotte is one of 5 teams that actually has a slightly better over record than an under. The other 25 teams are all even, 500, over, under, or under the total. And some of the names, Golden State, we talked, I think, Mr. Finn, you and I talked about that like 2 nights ago. They're like, 2-7-1 under. I said it reversed. The over is 2-7-1.
Yeah, I understand. And Denver was 8-1, 9-1. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you shake your head and you think, well, that's got to reverse at some point, and you want to at least catch some of that rubber band snapping back, which it will. And just want you to know, Penn State's going to win by double digits.
Overish.
When the penalty
every week.
When penalty yards by double digits, probably right.
I did. Who was that on WagerTalk today? They were talking about Penn State and Ohio State. That they were talking about the over. That they liked the over. It was Rob Vino, I think, on the college football best damn college football game.
We didn't. It was probably WagerTalk today because I was on the college football show. We didn't mention Ohio State, Penn State.
Okay, we'll have to have Mr. Vino on to explain himself on Friday.
John, what's the over-under on fights per week that break out at Manny's Sports Pub on how good Sean Clifford is?
Oh, it's 47.5.
Yeah. You're involved in half of them.
Yeah, me. Yeah, the choir boy face getting in a boxing match in a bar. Yeah. I'm the guy that's running out the door.
Sean Clifford defense team.
If you look at the stats, and we can talk about this game tomorrow too, since we did our best bets. But it might be a good game to do on Friday when it's a better day for you guys to attend, I think, because Mr. Mejia cannot make it the rest of the week, is it?
Friday's a possibility, but yeah, tomorrow's out.
And Tony,
I'm alive tomorrow. I'll make that decision.
Okay, that's fine.
No, I'm saying what's
spot here on a live show?
Is it Thursday? Tomorrow, Thursday?
Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday.
I probably am in. I'm probably in tomorrow, unless someone calls me with a better offer than free beer. I'm in. All right.
And by the way, I'm going to boast one time.
No.
I hear that.
Don't do it.
Here's my question, and then we'll end the show. What is harder than winning your 5% play in what we do at WagerTalk and SportsMemo? What play is harder to win than your 5% game of the year or game of the month?
Everything's harder than that.
No, for me, it's apparently 2% and 3% plays. Because 5 is doing really well.
It's when you're the $2 guy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. It's just like it's
That's extra pressure. That's true.
Yeah.
Did you hit?
Yeah, and I won.
Oh, you won.
Very,
Well, you got
very-
to listen. The worst case scenario is you got to flip a coin. You got a 50-50 chance.
What
I was
the
on
winning
Kansas.
play,
I was on Kansas.
That's good. That was my free pick.
John? All right, that's good. Yeah.
They all could have got that free. They didn't have to pay $2. They could have got free from Finn's. Free.
I do
Take
think
Michigan State over.
I was reading the stuff about Izzo being a bit ticked off about not being ranked, and I really did a lot of homework on their roster. In my humble opinion, I know you guys do a ton of it as well, and if not more. I do think that team, the Spartans, could be a Final Four team.
No way. Not a chance in hell. No, but I will say this. I agree with you on this part. I would never agree with Izzo being pissed about that because he, for the first time, and he's finally using the portal. The guys that there's just no way to bring in 7 guys from the portal that are going to get major minutes and have them ready with only 45 hours of practice time. The NCAA has this time of year. Anytime you have 5 new
That was
players,
one of the reasons I took Kansas.
Absolutely right, without question.
That was exactly one of the reasons I took them.
Good. That was good. Good handicapping because I also do not agree. Izzo, if they get him, listen, they were a gift last year. 15-13 was their record when they got to be in that play-in game last year. They were gifted. Izzo was gifted an invitation, and he failed in that. So I disagree. Izzo needs to change completely, in my opinion, because he's old school, and
He is.
And it's time.
Yep.
You know, you got to for an old man like me. If I want to compete with the millennials, I have to become more like the millennials, and I can't be. You know, because not everything's bottom line. I just can't do it. So I'll just die soon.
But he just needs a point guard, Tony, because honestly,
Well, he's got. Listen, I like their point guard. I like him. I like this kid.
From Northwestern.
Yes, Northeastern. Yeah, yes.
Northwestern. But he's okay. But yeah, I mean, I didn't expect much out of him in his first game.
No, I don't expect much from this team, Tony. I really don't. He needs, and I wrote this. If you look at the free paper, I wrote this. If he doesn't recruit kids that have his DNA, that play his kind of basketball, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, they rebound, they defend hard, and they're creative in transition. And they get a lot of their points from transition. The problem is he didn't have anybody creative enough to score in transition. I don't know anything enough about this team to say that will be them. But if you don't have Izzo's DNA, you don't fit right off the bat. You're never going to fit, in my opinion. He's the one that needs to change.
Yep.
No, but
Last time he wasn't ranked in the top 25. He made it to the Final Four.
last year was a disaster because of Watts, Rocket Watts. He's elsewhere now.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
And they had Foster Lawyer playing point. He's elsewhere now. And look at their best teams, led by Mateen Cleaves, Eric Snow, and most recently Cassius Winston.
Good college basketball players.
Yeah. I mean, if they get a point guard in there, Izzo can run his system and
I agree with you. Listen,
without that,
they don't.
And it might be that they might be that freshman. That freshman it escapes my mind right now, but they have a he was a top 20 recruit. What's his name?
From Michigan State?
Michigan State, and they have a top 60 guy too.
Pablo
freshman.
Escobar.
No, close though, close. But we'll figure it out later.
Moncaro. That guy.
Those Latinos, those damn Latino point guards.
He's a Latino big man.
It's an unusual first name, and it's four letters.
I understood him and Keels because I was on Kentucky last night. That's my greatest shame for night one of the end of college basketball that I went against Duke because I trust.
Well, I don't think that's a bad idea either. But I typically I don't play Kentucky early because they don't usually come into form, and Calipari doesn't come into form until about February. You know, his teams don't usually start playing together until then, and that's when they're best. But
that was a situation of just trusting Duke less.
Yeah.
Right. Nothing worse in my world than losing to Duke or with Duke.
Mm-hmm. There's a way to avoid that.
I just don't bet them.
Shout out to everybody on Twitter bothering Rocky Lombardi right now.
I take the over.
Hold on.
That way
Hold on. What happened to he's got what's going on with Rocky?
No, we still don't know. So I'm trying to finalize that. And
I'll tell you. What do you want to know?
You put Rocky Lombardi in a Twitter search. You got people pinging him on Twitter. Hey, you playing tonight? You playing?
I think he is.
I mean, I don't know whether he is or isn't. I'm definitely riding with Ball State. Either way.
Okay. Oh, I'm on the under. How about that?
Oh, very good. Very good.
Laughing at me.
I have nothing.
The weather's going to cooperate with you. Looks like 20-mile-an-hour winds and a little bit of rain. I've been to the college. I've been there once with UCF when I was a kid. And that
Jesse, maybe Jesse, maybe right now.
Hey, Jesse, that's why he left, because he was going to the game.
Oh, no kidding. That was lucky. No, 10-mile-an-hour winds or more right now. Both NFL and college. The unders are about 60%.
Yes, we do like that.
Yeah. Well, guys, we'll let you get rolling. Thanks, Tony Mahir, for your time. Thanks, Tony, Jim. Always. Yeah. Myself and all the people that support us at WagerTalk.com, SportsMemo.com. And until we see you guys the next time, make sure you get over to WagerTalk and get these guys subscriptions and their discounts. They're always great opportunities for you to be able to get every single play that they release. And when all access, some people don't understand all access. All access means every play they release. Sometimes when they put plays out for sale, that's not every play.
No.
Right.
Okay? I want to make that point.
World Cup qualifier tomorrow.
Access to limited sports, but your access to all our women. So come on in.
And
for $2.
There will be World Cup qualifiers tomorrow. I can't wait. Gonna pull an all-nighter, baby.
All right, so guys, in conclusion, may all the wins be yours, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks, guys.
Okay, just send me some of that pool water.